You put the clock in the triplane. You put the chalkboard in the triplane. You put the locket in the triplane.
Affirmative, Captain.
Everyone stay well back.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
There's only... Release my ship, Trelane.
My ship. My ship. It's always your ship, your crew. Don't you have anything else to think about? Conquests of your enemies and the fair sex.
Restore the ships you've stolen and return them unharmed.
You're in no position to make demands. I am the Baron of Gothas, the most renowned aristocrat in this part of Germany.
This farcical, wildly inaccurate fantasy of yours.
And you are my prisoner, a mere Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. And I will do with you whatever I want.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Zimbabwe.
My ship! Bring it back or I'll...
This one's even more savage than the last one of your officers who made the same mistake. My compliments, Captain, on having such a spirited crew. Truly a testament to your fine leadership.
Release. He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Ah, the gallant Captain, intervening on behalf of one who despises him. Don't worry about him, Captain. Worry about yourself.
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
Later, Commander.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Enterprise.
Jim, is that what I think it is? It is the Enterprise, Doctor. It is functioning normally, aside from being trapped. The crew are alive and well.
My latest hobby, gentlemen, putting warships in bottles, celebrating the grand martial heritage of your species.
Captain, thank goodness you're all right. We've been stuck in a place on minimal life support, and every time we fix our communication systems, it goes offline again. Shall we try to beam you back?
That might be problematic, Mr. Scott.
Be careful, Captain. We've scanned 2 life forms that are right off the power scale.
2 life forms, Scotty. Scotty, come in.
How like an engineer your Mr. Scott is, always fixated on the unimportant. Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape.
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
Why, thank you, Captain.
I wasn't complimenting you, Trelane, although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic.
Really, Captain?
Look into the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane, recreate what's in there, and let me show you firsthand the glory of one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. Not a liar, just misinformed. Use the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there. War at its most realistic and terrifying.
Captain Kirk, I hope you had a good reason for dragging me out in the mud in the middle of the rain.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud, diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane?
But these people lost, Kirk. Shame and suffering is supposed to befall the losers in war.
If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real warfare, put yourself in their place. No powers, no titles. Experience the glory of war firsthand, like these men did.
But aren't you inferior supposed to die like that? Aren't you supposed to throw your lives away in futile wars? Or die as meaningless non-entities? Dying a useless death without glory?
No one is useless, Trelane, and no one wants to throw away their life in a futile war. We've changed, Trelane. We've grown up. It's time you did too.
You're no fun anymore, Kirk. No fun at all. You're preachy just like them. Anything I'm interested in is always wrong.
Really? Trelane, look around you. Does this look right to you?
But I didn't cause this, Kirk. It was your own species' suicidal tendencies that did this.
Trelane, I'll tell you what, Trelane. You can keep the Enterprise. All I want is your triplane.
You want my plane? You can't have that. It's mine.
But it's a lot nicer than the Enterprise. What would you rather have, a nice red triplane or a clunky-looking starship? Which one is better, Trelane?
Why, my triplane, of course.
Then why don't you make lots of triplanes and let those dusty, dirty old starships go free? Just think of all the fun you can have putting them in bottles.
Why, Captain, you've given me a hobby. I can hardly wait to start.
You'd better set those starships free, Trelane. You're going to need a lot of room on your mantelpiece for your new ships.
That is true, Captain.
Captain's log. The missing starships have been restored to normal size and are about to return to their assigned missions. It was horrible, Mr. Spock. Trelane recreated one of the greatest tragedies in human history. I've seen a lot, but even that...
The waste of lives is appalling, even when one operates by pure logic. When one considers what those millions of lives that were lost might have done for humanity had the war never taken place.
Well, now that we've taken care of business... Ow! I'll have to see Dr. McCoy about my shoulder.
Something happened, Captain?
Mr. Ellis and
I see. Are your differences settled?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Spock. We each won a game of zero-G squash, but I'm afraid he was called back to the Zimbabwe before we could have a rubber match. I think I dislocated my shoulder with a rather wild swing in the second game.
Then logic suggests that your injury would have caused you to lose the match.
I suppose so. He's a good player and a good officer. I'm putting in a request to bring him on the Enterprise.
That should be fascinating.
Hello, Captain. I'm Captain Gernsbeck of the Shinobi. I thought I would thank you personally before we left for Cephas 5.
A pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Have we met before, Captain? There's something familiar.
Perhaps we did, on some other planet, in some other star system, sometime long ago.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.